Doing okay. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I had a great day yesterday. I went to Timgad. Do you know Tim? Obviously, you know Timgad. It's amazing. 2,000 years of Roman history there. It's incredible. So, thank you so much for having me. Before I start, I'd just like to find out, get an idea of who I have in the audience. I'm expecting today to talk about teaching. As you know, I'm the director of the Ayesslington Centre for English in London. We're a language school in central London. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I like my teachers at the Ayesslington Centre for English to teach, and some of the methods that we use. And so I'd just like to find out a little bit about who is in the audience. Can you put your hand up if you're a professor or a teacher? Okay, teacher, good. Good, come on, don't be shy. I won't ask any difficult questions. And put your hand up if you're a teacher of English. Good. Okay, you guys are what I was particularly thinking about for today. So, as you know, we're an English language school, and our objective is of course, to teach English in our own particular style. And so my talk is really aimed at English language teachers today. But of course, you can use some of this methodology in lots of different fields too. And then, of course, I can open up for some questions, and you can ask me about anything you like, really. So, right. So, teaching the ICE way. We like our classes to be active, not just sitting there as a passive receptacle for grammar or skills. We like students to be really engaged, and doing something. Communicative, producing lots of language, talking, and student-centered. And I am aware of the slight irony of this today. I'm in a lecture hall, and it's quite teacher-centered, this, isn't it? It's centered on the teacher, and I'm telling you stuff. But in our classes, they're smaller. The grammar of how you make this sentence, we don't. We say, go and get some milk from the fridge. And that is how they learn, in a natural method. And there's a lot to be said for that. And when you are teaching in English, and I know this is something that you're doing more and more of at universities in Algeria, you're delivering a lesson. It might be in biochemistry here at this university, but you're delivering it in English, and the focus is your biochemistry rather than the language. But naturally, students will acquire the language. This, I think, works best for higher level students. It's not designed really for beginners. You can if you were involved in trying to learn biochemistry in English, if you're a pre-intermediate student, is very difficult. Okay, so it's for the high learners already with a good understanding of English. It's very practical, and it does encourage you to think in the language. Right. So, what does a good lesson contain? I've written down a few of my favourite parts of a good lesson, but really I could go on and on and on, but I just chose a few that I thought were really, really good. Personalised. People love talking about themselves. That's true, isn't it? Tell me about you. Be a good listener. Be a good listener, rather than just talking at your students. Me. Talk about yourself. Let me give you an example. Well, in fact, I've got a good example coming later. Let's look at that. Student-centered. The student should be at the centre. producing the language. You're not going to learn a language well just by listening, or just by doing grammar exercises, or by reading comprehensions. You need to say things, you need to produce the language. And I don't know whether you know this expression, a pet hate. Do you know the expression pet hate? My pet hate. Something that pushes my buttons is if I hear a teacher from outside the door talking too much. Talking is important for a teacher, to model the language. But in fact, as some of my previous directors of studies have said, a teacher should model the language and then sit down and shut up. It's a bit rude, that, isn't it? But there you go. Sit down and shut up, basically. Task-based, we touched on this earlier. Have something to do. Have a project, maybe. Have a task. How do I get to Constantine? Here's a map. This is what you do. You turn left here. You catch the bus from there. Okay, so you need an objective, task-based. Measurable. For students to feel autonomy in a lesson, for students to feel in control of their learning, they need to measure and understand what they can do and what they can't do. One way of doing that is just to write clear aims on the board before you deliver your lesson. Today, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to use the present perfect to talk about experience, for example. What is your aim of the lesson? Write it up, and at the end, when you've perhaps done a little test of ongoing assessment. Ongoing assessment is very important as well. We call it formative assessment. So assessment along the way, where it's low, we say low stakes, so not important test. Easy, quick test. Oh, how am I doing? Not very well. I need to do some more work on that. Okay. So clear aims and ongoing assessment, so the students can be in control and measure what they know. Well paced and managed. Okay, you've got 5 minutes to do this reading. Let's go. Students need to be managed. They need to know how long they've got to do something is a good, easy example. I found that this also engenders a confidence in the teachers from the students. My teacher is well organised. She said, I've got 5 minutes. She knows what she's doing. She's got a plan. Yeah. So that's always very handy. Full of new and recycled vocabulary. So there is a certain amount of disagreement on this, but I was always taught that 12 new words is a good number. 12 new words. Per day. 12 new words in a lesson. 12 new words per day. I think that's optimum. And students want, and students benefit from them all written on the board. What's the part of speech? Is it a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb? How do you say it? How do you pronounce the word? There's no point in getting a new word if you can't say it, right? I think if you're going to give a student 30 words, they won't learn them. Keep it realistic. Keep it realistic. We spoke yesterday. Hands up, were you here yesterday? Anybody here yesterday? Put your hands up if you're here yesterday. Okay, good. Yesterday we talked about SMART targets, didn't we? So the number of words needs to be realistic. That's the R, sorry, that's the R, isn't it? Right. involves controlled and freer practice. So, you're practicing the English in a controlled way at the beginning. So it's very, you can't sort of go outside the parameters easily. It might be a simple gap fill, an old-fashioned gap fill for grammar. But then I always thought of a lesson as a kind of a funnel going out like that. And it starts controlled and it becomes freer. Yeah? And you practice the language in a freer way. So you're not told exactly what to say, you need to use your brain, and hopefully the target language will come out in your practice. And maybe the teacher can say, well done, you used the language we're practicing. Old school, right? Now, my lessons were a little bit like this. Not as an exaggeration, but old school. We talk about the audiolingual method. This is the grammar. This is how the language fits together. Now you do it. But there are still some important parts, still good parts to that. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Gap fill grammar exercises, very useful. Still very, very useful. We have a very good book, I don't know whether you know, if we have English language teachers here, we have a very good book called Murphy, Grammar in Use. It's very famous, lots of people have it. There's a green one, that's the advantage, and it starts red. Red, blue, green. I think they're excellent. They've been going a long time, but I think they're really excellent. If you can work through those, then you're doing a good thing. They're very particularly for reference, for grammar. Reading comprehensions, very useful. But maybe we can approach them in a more interesting way, rather than saying, here's a reading, get on with it. Maybe we can get into it with different techniques, which we can talk about a bit later. Tests, also good. We talked about formative assessment, low stakes assessment. So, tests that help a student remember and understand and gauge and quantify how well they're doing. All good stuff. Okay. Right, don't read all this, it's going to take you a long time. But this is a reading comprehension. But instead of, in fact, I did this last night in my hotel room. I wrote into ChatGPT. Do you use ChatGPT? Yes. It's amazing for teachers. It's brilliant. Don't rely completely on it, but it will save you so much time in organising your lessons. I said, write me 200 words on the importance or the benefits of free trade. Now, it's a reading comprehension. What I did is I cut it up into 4 sections. And I changed the sections, I changed the order. I don't know if you can see over there. But you've got A, B, C, and D. And I put them in different order. And, as is the classic way with English language teachers in England, you cut them up into little strips. And you mix them up. You don't have to cut them up, but you probably do this. Give them out. I say, right, what order does this reading go? Is it A, B, C, D? Is it B, C, D, A? And that's a really nice way to A, generate interest in a subject. It's a really nice way to get people engaged with the language and identifying 1 or 2 of the important points before they really get into it and look at it in detail. This is, I would say, around a C1 level, so it's an advanced level, it's a good university level here. Does anyone, it's probably too difficult, anybody want to have a guess which order they go in? Can I see it?
B, C, or A, C, A, B, or B, A.
Very good, sir. Yeah, 1 point to you. It's actually D, C, B, A. You got it correct. DCBA. And this is a really nice way of very easily getting into a reading comprehension. There are lots of other good techniques. Another really nice one is a running dictation. Have you ever done a running dictation? I don't know how university a running dictation is, but we do this sort of thing. So we can't do it in the lecture hall, it would be carnage. Can you imagine? Running up to the front. But you have the article, or maybe an excerpt, a small amount of the article, pinned to the front of the classroom. One person runs up, reads some, as much as he or she can remember, runs back, tells their partners, A and B partners, tells the partner, as much as I can remember, I can't remember anymore, runs back, reads a bit more, runs back, tells the person, and it's really fun. It's really fun. And it's a very good way of generating interest. It's a good warmer. Also, it gets people active, gets people moving. It's very difficult to sit here, like you guys are doing, for a long period of time. Okay. Okay, drilling. Drilling is something we did a lot of at school. Drilling is basically repeating an expression. And I put one up here. Can we try, I'm going to get some audience participation. Can you say this expression? Everyone? Pretty good. Pretty good. However, as a native English speaker, generally, I wouldn't say, can I help you? I'd probably say,
Can I help you?
oh, that was good. Who said that? Yes?
Yeah, it's can I help you?
Very good. Can I? Can. Can everyone say can? Can. Good. Is it weak or strong, that vowel? Weak. It's a weak vowel. Very good. So can becomes can. And you wouldn't think this really, as a language learner, you might not think it. Can I help you? Everyone? Can I help you? Can I carry that? Can I carry that? Can I carry that, please? Can I have a break now, please? Can I have a break now, please? Can I have an extension on my essay, sir? Can I have an extension on my essay, sir? Good. Notice we're not saying can. We're saying can. Can we agree to disagree? Yeah. Can we agree to disagree? Okay, good. So, drilling is really good and really important. Oh, hey, why not? Let's go back. How about go back? Oh yeah. How about some rhythm? Can I have a break now, please? Can I have a break now, please? Can I have an extension on my essay, sir? Can we agree to disagree? Good. You introducing some rhythm is nice. Can we agree to disagree? Good. If you're musical, I don't know, I love music. And so I think this really helps, and it's another fun way of doing it. Can we agree to disagree? Good. Of course, you don't go out into the world saying, can we agree to disagree? Of course. And maybe you'll say it's not natural, I understand. But it's a nice way of having fun, and also maybe thinking not too much about the language, just trying to do it in a natural way. Right. Okay. So, talking about old style methods, one thing that we were obsessed with at school and at university, just memorization, remembering stuff. I don't know, I don't have any experience of your teaching methods, I'm afraid, so excuse my ignorance. But I know in some countries, in Russia, for example, they're big on memorization. This has limits. It has its limits. So, in fact, let me just ignore that for a second. Sorry, I shouldn't have it up there yet. So, there are limits. Now, when I go and visit a school in Russia, I meet a young man, a young student, and he's very happy that I've come to visit, and he's pushed out by the teachers, and his English is fantastic. He stands there and he says, "Hello, Director Tim from London, come in. This is our lovely school, and on the right we have the gymnasium where we see lots of acts of great athleticism." Okay. He has been taught to memorize this language, and I say to young Vlad, or Ivan, I say, "So, how are you today?" And he's petrified, he can't answer, because it's not what he's memorized, poor boy. Actually, I don't want to say their English is fantastic, they do extremely well in English. Rain.
Oh, dear, looks like rain.
Very good, one more time.
Oh, dear, looks like rain.
Very good. Oh dear, it looks like rain. Right, let's do that again. Ready? You've got 1 minute. Go. Good. Sorry, what I mean is, can you do it in your partners? Do it in your partners. Let's do the whole thing again. You ready? You've got 1 minute. Go. Let me think. Okay. Did we see any new words from the last? Let me see. Let's see. We've got. If I go back in my disappearing dialogue. So we've got a word here, extension. What does extension mean? Can you show me with your hands? Yeah, good. Extension. Is it a noun or a verb?
No.
Very good, it's a noun. So I'm writing on the board here. Extension, noun. Okay, what formality is it? Is it formal or is it informal? Formal, very good. Why do we know? How do we know it's formal? Do we know? You feel it, don't you? But why do you feel it's formal? The shun at the end. Yeah, I'd agree. So it has a Latinate origin. So Latin words, so the words that we got from the Romans and the French, they tend to be more formal. Is there an Anglo-Saxon way or a more informal way of saying extension? Tell me how I would say that in a more everyday way. I could say make longer.
Yeah.
So I've got two words, make longer. Latin is more efficient, actually, than Anglo-Saxon. And English is a big mixture of everything. So we've got noun, verb. Okay, what's the verb?
Extend.
Extend. Very good. So here I've got 5 or 6 words for the price of one, haven't I? Extend, extension. Give me the present participle or the present continuous. I am extending. Good. Okay, stress on the word.
Extend.
Very good. Extend. Yeah, so the stress comes on the second syllable. There's a lot to do with a word. You can squeeze out, as I said, you can squeeze out a lot of value from each word. I call it a word storm. I don't know what it's really called, but I call it a word storm. So you can get 5, 10 words for the price of one. I observed a lesson the other day from a fantastic teacher called Kate. And she did this. She did a small activity that some teachers would have done in 5 minutes. She took 20 minutes on it, but nobody was sitting around doing nothing. But they were fully engaged. They were thinking, extend, extension, make longer, formal, informal, noun, verb. Okay, thinking constant engagement with the students. So I want back from the students all the time. How do I say it? How do I pronounce it? Where's the stress? Where's the weak vowel? Where's the schwa? Okay, good. Okay, I don't know, this is going on quite long now, so maybe we'll miss this one out. But here's an example of question form practice in a task-based learning example. So, student A, can you see that they want to know where to go to get to the BBC? And you've got a question. What's the question here?
What's the phone number?
Okay, yeah, what's the phone number? Very good. Or of the street, what about? Yeah, what's the address? What's the address? Or what number street is it? So we pre-teach some vocabulary, and then the students practice it with an information gap. There's a gap in their information. And together at the end, they have this task. They need to get a complete information at the end. I don't think we need to practice that, do we? Right, me. Okay, that's not me, by the way. Personalization. I think this is really good in language learning. People love to talk about themselves, as I said. So, here's a nice game that I'd like you to play now with your partner. It's called Two Truths and a Lie. It's a lovely little game, and it will never get old, this one. Two truths. Now, I'm teaching, I've already taught the present perfect for experience. For example, I have been to Timgad. Oh, okay. I have been to Timgad, and I have seen the wonderful Roman ruins. So that's my experience with the present perfect.
That's true.
And it's true. Yeah, that's not one of my truths. Now, this is about me. I've jumped out of an aeroplane. That's A.
That's the lie.
But hold on a minute. You might see some even more difficult to believe ones. I have climbed Mount Everest. I've played guitar on TV.
Third one. The third one.
Okay, well, I'm going to call them A, B, and C. A, B, and C, all right? Which one's the lie?
C.
Hands up if you think A is the lie. A is the lie. Hands up if you think B is the lie. What about C? Okay, interesting. Now, before I tell you the answer, this is a really good example for a student and a student-centered lesson to be producing lots of language. So, I've jumped out of an aeroplane. I can now tell you a little story. I won't bore you too much, I'll keep it very brief. But I jumped out of an aeroplane. When I met my wife, she was very adventurous. She still is very adventurous, but she said to me, everybody at work is doing this parachute jump. Do you want to come and do it with me? It's brilliant. I said, no, not really, I really don't. That's a really stupid thing to do. But in the end, she convinced me to do it. And it was, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
You actually...
But I'm glad, well, you've got to decide whether it's true or a lie. Now, but I'm glad I did it, but I'd never do it again, because it's dangerous, funnily enough. I've climbed Mount Everest. This was really difficult. I climbed Mount Everest, yeah, right. So, it was really difficult. I had to train for many months. And it was arduous, very cold, and very, very difficult. But I had helpers, so they helped me. That was really hard. But again, it was also bad because I had a bad foot. I played guitar on TV before I was an English teacher. I was a musician, and I played guitar. I did lots. That was my job, so I used to play guitar. And one of the things I played on was a TV show called Jules Holland. Which was really fun, and that's a part of my life that I really enjoyed, and I still do a bit of that now. Right, okay, so I've produced a load of language, and you've listened to it, and it's quite free practice, but it also got me to practice the present perfect. Okay, who thinks A is a lie? Who thinks B is a lie? Yeah, that's a total lie. I've been trying that and everything, and it's a very bad idea. Let's do a quick practice. Come on, that's enough about me. Back with your partners, maybe just one of you, okay? 3 truths, 2 truths, and a lie. Okay. 1 minute. Oh no, not 1 minute. Let's do 5 minutes. Let's go. Let's go. Otherwise, having a teacher looming over you is not very nice. Yeah? So, monitoring in a very sort of unintimidating way is a very nice thing to do. Sometimes you get right down like this. Get right down like that. It's nice. So, you're not being too teacher. Anyway, I did hear somebody saying, I want to go to London. I said, okay, good. But I reminded her about the target language. Does anybody want to share any good lies? They're normally, the lies are normally the best ones, actually.
Just the lies?
And go on, tell us a good one.
Merely the lies.
Anything. Give us a good sentence.
I have shook the hand of the president of Algeria, for example.
Oh, is that true? Because I was convinced for a minute. Very good. Okay, it's a fun game. Okay, what is it?
A balloon. An air balloon.
It's a hot air balloon. Very good. Here's a nice exercise for freer practice. Freer practice. Has any hands up if you've seen the balloon debate? Have you seen a balloon debate? 1. Anyone else? Oh, good. 2. Okay. 3. Okay. So a few people have seen it. I love this one. It's really nice. So you start with learning lots of vocabulary. What is your target language? Don't forget, an activity is there to practice something, not just to talk, although the talking is very useful too. But I like to have something concrete that we're trying to learn. So, in a balloon debate, I normally start by talking about professions. What do you want to do? I want to be a policeman. Yeah? Give me some professions. Anybody? Doctor. Professor. Very good. Lawyer. Excellent. So we've got doctor, lawyer, professor. Now, I would brainstorm. Maybe we're talking about jobs in this week's topic. We then talk about competencies, or skills, or character, or parts of your character. So you might be, we would then brainstorm that. So what is this is a good one for you guys, professor. What is a professor good at?
Guidance.
Teaching? Monitoring? Yeah?
Good looking.
Interacting. Good, so I'm very interactive, yeah? So give me interacting, give me an adjective for that.
Communicative.
Interactive. So I'm going to board all of the adjectives that I get. I've got interactive. What else describe a professor for me? Informed. Good. So informed, interactive. Anything else? Sorry? Assessing. Oh yeah. So you could say good at assessing. Yeah. Very good at assessing. Right. So we do this for all the jobs, and we look at skills, competencies, and personality traits. We get all the vocabulary on the board, and then we say, there's a problem with this balloon. There's 5 of you in the balloon. We've got the professor, we have the policeman, we have the lawyer, and we have the doctor all in there. And they've all got different personalities, and they've got different skills, but there's a problem. What's the problem? Yes, sir.
No one knows how to fly.
Oh, that's good. Well, yeah. Actually, they do know how to fly it, but there's a problem with the balloon itself.
With the weight.
With the weight. There's a hole in the balloon. Oh no! There's a hole in the balloon, and it's too heavy.
For sure it will be the professor.
Oh, yeah. But I can't say that. You can say that, but I can't say that. Now, in the water, what is there? Dun, 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 dun. Sharks in the water. Very good. We've got a professor who's getting very nervous. Right. We've got to throw out somebody. But you don't want to be thrown out.
Yeah.
You don't want to be thrown out. So, what you're going to do is convince everybody else in the balloon that you should stay.
Your own process.
Well, I'm a professor and I'm very good at assessing people. Is that going to make you stay? I don't know. You need to think quickly. What I used to do, depending on the level, advanced students are very good at doing this very quickly. Lower level students give them more time to prepare. So, they will try to convince everybody that they should stay in the balloon. And then the really fun bit is to decide who to throw out of the balloon. Who are we going to throw out? Okay, so this is a nice example of freer practice. You could do it. You could do it with grammar, with vocabulary, lots of ways to exploit that material. Discovery method. Okay, is this too much now? I'm giving you a lot of information. Still good?
Yes.
You're not too bored yet.
Never.
The discovery method. Okay, this is a really nice student-centered way of learning. Do I have a volunteer who wants to come and read it? Oh, do you want to come up? Oh, do you want to? There we go. It's sort of a intermediate maybe, but not super high advanced university level necessarily, but you can do this at any level. We already know, I'm assuming your knowledge of the past simple and the past continuous, you already know this, so you understand that the sun was shining in the background information, yeah? And you already know that skipped past simple happened at a specific time in the past. It's a complete activity. You already know this. But when did he leave the wallet on the table?
In the morning.
Yeah, but when? Specifically when?
Before going.
Not quite, yes.
When he slapped his head in
Not before.
No, not quite.
As he.
Yes, yes, sir.
I guess when he went home last night, the night before.
Possibly.
Yes.
Can you say that in more grammatical sort of, was it before or after something?
Before he skipped up.
After going down.
Not necessarily before he skipped. Or before he slapped his head. That's the important thing. So we've got a timeline. And this is a discovery method. You're discovering something.
You make assumptions.
I didn't start off with the past. Does anyone know what the grammar's called? He had left. Anybody know the name of that grammar?
Past perfect.
Past perfect.
To leave.
Good. Past perfect. Very good. Past perfect simple as well. And there's another one called past perfect continuous. Very good. This is a nice example of the past perfect simple. So I didn't start with a presentation on that. I wanted the student to discover it. And that's really nice. We go, ping! That happened before. I get it. So your mind is working. It's not just that old repetition thing we used to do with language. Good. Visible learning. So we talked about this before. Students evaluating their own learning, clear aims on the board, learner autonomy. We want students to have an idea. So how could we invoke that in the last exercise? Well, at the end, maybe we can have a gap fill, a grammar gap fill about past perfect. Or maybe we can give them another reading in which they need to fill in the past perfect simple. Right, ChatGPT, that was a good one. Last night, I did this last night as well. I said, write me, what did I say? Oh yes, I said, write me 200 words, or is it 100 words? Anyway, write me 200 words, thank you, on the benefits of studying English in London. And I wrote in ChatGPT, write it at B1 level. You know, the CEFR ratings. Write it for me at B1 level. And then I said, rewrite this at C1 level. This is lovely, isn't it? And I think it did a great job. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's really, really amazing that computers can do this these days. So, what a lovely exercise, particularly for a university student that wants to understand the difference in register. Because register is important for an academic, because they want to write generally in the formal register in English. So, we can think of lots of exercises with this, can't we? Maybe the students start with this, and we can say to the students, rewrite it like this. And then you can go through and identify the words that are different. And then we build our vocabulary. So that's a nice thing to do. That's it, actually. That's the end of my presentation. So I put the QR code there again, just in case anybody wants to enroll at our language school in London with the Islington Centre for English. If you are interested in studying in London, this QR code, if it works, should take you to our enrolment form. Now, the real pedagogy expert is our Director of Studies, Kerry, who has lots and lots of experience in English, and he will teach teachers. So if anybody is interested in coming to one of our pedagogy courses, please get in contact, enroll, send us an email. In fact, I should put some more, I think most of you here yesterday. You can always ask Walid about contact details, or just scan this and you can get in touch with us from the website. And yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for your attention, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy to have any questions. Should we do 15 minutes of questions or something? Yeah? Walid, would you help with the microphone? And,